In the corporate world, the higher you climb up the ladder, the more perks you have. The more people are there to take care of your needs. Celebrities often walk around with their entourage that handle every little detail of their lives. This isn't just a modern American thing. The world has functioned this way for thousands of years. It was the definition of success even in Jesus' day. In the Gospels, there were several times where the disciples argued about who was the greatest. They wanted the perks and the attention. Jesus regularly put them in their place and let them know that this was the way of the world, but it would be different among us. Then he said something that was extremely counterculture. Whoever wants to be a leader among you must be your servant. Jesus didn't just say it, he showed them what it meant. He was constantly giving of himself. His disciples saw this firsthand as they were right there with him. For some reason, it still didn't click for most of them at first, but one of the things that personally impacted them in a huge way was when he washed their feet. Washing someone's feet in Jewish culture was for someone at the very bottom of the ladder. The disciples regularly argued with each other about who was the greatest, but their leader, the miracle worker and famous teacher, took off his robe, tied it around his waist, and bent down and washed their nasty feet. He set the example. After Jesus washed the disciples' feet, he put his robe back on and said this in John 13:12. When he had finished washing their feet, he put on his clothes and returned to his place. "Do you understand what I have done for you?" He asked them. "You call me teacher and Lord, and rightly so, for that is what I am. Now that I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also should wash one another's feet. I have set you an example that you should follow as I have done for you." If our leader and Savior can bend down and wash feet, then we must be ready to roll up our sleeves and get dirty as well. This wasn't an isolated example from Jesus. Throughout the Gospels, we can see how Jesus set the tone of reaching out to the lost and forgotten and the unwanted. The woman at the well, tax collectors, lepers, the demon-possessed, and prostitutes. He told stories that made despised Samaritans the heroes and went places that most religious leaders of his day would never step foot in. If Jesus was here today, he would be reaching out to all kinds of lost people in our communities. The corrupt businessmen, the strippers, the drug dealers, the gang members, the atheist college students, the prescription drug addicts, and even the Muslim woman wearing a hijab. Love Our City will be a way for us to practice what might be a long neglected skill of flipping our city upside down as leaders who serve. Jesus set the pace, and we need to follow his lead.